Hey, what's up YouTube? Ryan Body back again with another tutorial for Sveltekit integration, and this time we're going to be integrating Supabase authentication. Now, if you're not familiar with Supabase, it is an open source alternative to a platform as a service like Firebase, if you didn't know, they actually just announced in the last week that they received $80 million in investment funding, which is super exciting. And this plus a couple requests that I've gotten had encouraged me to go and check out Supabase. And so I set up this quick project to show how you would set up authentication in a Sveltekit project. And it was super easy. This is going to be a quick video walkthrough. So let's go ahead and dive right into the code. All right, so first things first, we're going to start out like we always do and create our project. So we can do npm init svelte Supabase auth. And I'll do a skeleton project. I'm not going to do any type checking or ESLinting or prettier or playwright. Okay, and then we can cd into Supabase auth and do an npm install to install our dependencies. And then I'm also going to just go ahead and npm install at supabase-js. All right, and that should be everything we need to get started. So I'm going to open this up in Visual Studio by typing code dot. And so here is our project, and as per usual, we get our routes with an index page with just a tiny bit of HTML in there. So if we were to do npm, let me switch this over to WSL. npm run dev. And I were to go to localhost 3000, we can see welcome to Sveltekit. So first things first, we can go ahead and get rid of all that and save. And then we're going to go ahead and get set up in Supabase. I'd like to take 10 seconds for a quick ad. I am releasing Conquer CSS on May 31st. Head to conquercss.com to sign up with your email and get a free copy at launch. Now back to the video. So here I am in Supabase. I have created an org. I have a project, but I'm going to just go ahead and create a new project. New project under my organization. And I'm going to go ahead and call this Supabase Auth YT. New? Yeah, Supabase Auth YT new. And then I'm gonna go ahead and create a new password and free tier, and it's in the east. And I'm gonna create our project. And this usually takes a few minutes to set up the project. As you can see here, it says setting up project, but we can go ahead and get started. So let's jump back into our code. And first things first, we're going to go ahead and initialize Supabase. So I'm going to create a new file under routes called supa.js. So this will be an endpoint. And in supa.js, I am going to import create client from at Supabase.js, and then down here I'm going to create a constant called Supabase and use create client. And create client takes a few arguments, but we're going to go ahead and give it the most simple set of arguments for tutorial's sake. And we're going to copy our URL. So copy your URL from your homepage of your project and paste it there. And then for this tutorial's purpose, we're going to go ahead and use our secret key because it allows us to bypass our row level security. But I will be doing another video on how to set up row level security and using your public key. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And this won't be live anymore by the time I'm done with this video, so don't bother trying to steal it. And I'm going to paste this in. And then finally, I'm going to wrap up by export default Supabase. So we export that constant and save it. And then let's go ahead and get started with our components. So let me show you what we're going to be creating. I'll shut this down, and I'm just on another screen. I've already created this once. So this is what we're going to be creating, just a simple login form. You can sign up with it. You use your email and password to log in. And yeah, looks nice. I used this gradient in the background, which I thought looked pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and jump back over into here. So here's our Supa.js. I'm going to create a new folder in source called lib. Inside for library, and inside lib, I'm going to create a new folder called components. And then in components, I'm going to create a new file called loginform.svelte. Okay, and then in login form svelte, we are going to go ahead and put together our login form. So let's start with a div with a class of login form container. And then in here, we're going to do an h1 that just says login for now. Form with a class of login form. And I'm going to give that a submit event listener later. And we'll do an input type of email, placeholder equals email at email.com. It's not how you spell email. And then copy that down, and I'll do password. And this will be a type of password. So this is just basic HTML. And then a button with a type of submit for our form. And this will say login. And underneath that, we need an anchor tag that's outside of our form that's going to go to the sign up page. And this will say not a member, sign up. Sweet. So let's go ahead and import that into our index.svelte. So with a script tag, we can do import login form. Oh, no, we can't. Yes, we can. What am I doing? Login form. No. Login form from. I don't know why it's not wanting to autocomplete. It never like autocompletes my component imports when I'm recording, but it always does when I'm not. It's like the curse of recording. So I'm going to put this inside a div with a class of container, and this is just for some spacing. But this is going to be login form, like that. And then down here in my style tag, I'm going to go ahead and do container, display flex, justify content center, align items center, height of 100 view height units, and a width of 100%. Save that, run the dev server, and we'll go back and look here. And we have a very ugly login form that is blindingly bright. So let's go ahead and give this login form a little more styling, shall we? Let's go ahead and start a style tag, and in your style tag, I'm gonna do login form container. I'm gonna give it some padding. I'm gonna give it a border radius. I'm gonna give it a box shadow, and I'm just gonna go ahead and copy and paste in my favorite box shadow. This is the box shadow I use for basically everything. And then a background color of, we'll do 80, 80, 80, 80. Nice. And then login form container H1. And in past videos, I'm just gonna give this a font family of Oswald. Sans serif. Oh, no. There we go. In past videos, I've just copied and pasted in CSS because I know you're all here for the Svelte stuff, but there are some people who watch my videos for the CSS, and I recently wrote a book on CSS, which you'll see a 10-second ad for later. But I just wanted to go ahead and go through it and type it out and show you guys kind of what I'm working with here, because I like to write in most of my own CSS. So in our actual login form, I'm going to do display flex direction column, and let me walk through what all this is doing. So this CSS is centering vertically and horizontally our login form. This is giving some padding, some border radius. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Setting a font family for H1 and a font size, and then I'm creating the login form, and it's going to be a flex box with the flex direction of column, so that our elements go vertically instead of horizontally. And I'm going to do a width of 30%, and you'll see what this all looks like in just a moment. And I'll be doing more like CSS specific videos. I'm going to be doing some CSS challenges where I like make some game UI and like some interesting elements and stuff. But for now, I'm giving everything all the elements in login form a little bit of margin on top, so they have some good spacing. Target the inputs in the component, and we'll do a width of 300 pixels. Yeah, I'm not super worried about mobile responsiveness for this. I could do a whole video on responsive CSS. Border none. Border radius of 15 pixels, just creating some nice rounded inputs. Padding of 10 pixels, and box sizing of border box so that my padding doesn't throw off my element size. But anyway, as I walk through the CSS, feel free to skip forward in the video if you're not interested in the CSS, or let me know in the comments below if you like me going through the CSS, and I'll keep doing it in the future. Input focus, outline none, so it's just removing the outline from the default input focus. Button, we're going to do a width of, and I know this seems like a lot, but trust me, the way I set this up is really I only write this code once. So I write all my CSS one time, and I reuse this login form a couple times. So width of 100 pixels, a height of 40 pixels, a border, or no border rather, border none. Background color, I went with this like cool green, and I'll show you guys a little hack. So you can hover over this cube in VS Code and you can change the color, but I like that green. So font size of 1, element, border radius of 15 pixels, and once again copying in my favorite box shadow. Then last but not least, for our anchor tag, I'm going to remove the text decoration by doing text decoration none. I am going to set it to the same funky color as up here. It's like kind of bright green. I thought was kind of interesting. Goes with the Supabase theme. Display of block, so that I can more easily move this bad boy around with margin. So margin top 10 pixels. All right, so let's go back and look at our login form now. There we go. Our login form is somewhat that matching what we saw before. I need to import my fonts. So if you go to Google Fonts, I already have the family selected, but you can go through and select all the families you want and then just copy and paste this link into your head in your app.html. So I'll say fonts, comment that out, and import those bad boys. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I just, you know what? I'm not going to worry about spacing here. And then if we refresh this, our login font is here, but I need to set some more CSS up. So let's do that real quick. This is going to be in a layout file. So if we do underscore layout.svelte and create that in our routes folder, what the layout file will do is it actually allows you to repeat things across every page of the app. So I'll do main, and then I'll do slot, which is a special element in Svelte. That is where this page gets loaded. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this in because it's mostly stuff that I got. I got this background linear gradient from Josh Komu's article about gradients, where he sets up a tool that lets you generate really nice looking gradients. And then I do an overflow hidden, height of view, 100 view height to make sure that my stuff is centered correctly, and then a font family of Open Sans. So now if I save this and I go back here, nice, looks exactly how it should look. But right now it doesn't do anything, even though Supabase is initialized in our supa.js file. So let's make it so that we can log in. So if we go to our login form, and we go up and we do a script tag, I'm going to import Supabase from routes supa. Wait. Sorry, I'm missing one. There we go. And I'm going to import goto to handle our redirection after our login is completed. So app navigation. Oh, nope, sorry, this shouldn't be an @ symbol. This should be a $ for the store for navigation. All right, and then I'm gonna do let email equal blank and let password equal blank. And so what this allows us to do is it allows us to set up global variables for email and password. And then down here in the email and password inputs, I'll do bind value equals email. And in password, I'll do bind value equals password. And that just means that these variables are updated in a reactive fashion because they're bound to these inputs. So next things next, we are going to do a little bit of magic here. So over here on our demo, if you hit not a member sign up, you should be taken to a sign up form, but it's going to look exactly like this, where it asks you for an email and password, just with a different title and a different button text, and maybe you add some more stuff, but I'm essentially going to reuse this. But our sign up and sign in function are slightly different. So one way you can use the component is, this is a nice little hack I came up with, and I use this in my Firebase video as well. But if we set up a prop for the title, and then we go back to index and we do login form and we do title equals login. And then we come down here to our H1 and we set this to title. And we go back. It still says login, but now we know exactly what page we're on. So what I do is I'm going to set up an async function called handle login. And you'll see this come into play here, this title checking. So we'll do if title equals login, constant user and error, and that's going to equal await Supabase auth sign in. And this is something that's really cool about Supabase as opposed to Firebase is I just imported the Supabase client. I didn't need to import all these different modules and stuff. I'm glad that Firebase broke it down into modules because now you can kind of tree shake, but at the same time it's more code. So I'm going to give it the login object with the password and the email, and those are just going to be bound directly to password and email as they are up here, and they're bound to our inputs, so those will always be correct. And then we'll do if and check for user. We will go to /dashboard. So the user will log in and be redirected to dashboard. Else, so if there's an error, just console.error. Cool. So if they log in and they like have an account and their password matches, they'll be directed to the dashboard. If not, they'll get an error. However, that's only if the title equals login. What if we want them to sign up? Well, let's go ahead and create a new file in routes called signup.svelte. And all it's going to be is it's going to be a direct copy of our login form on our index, but this is going to say sign up. And that's it. And then what we'll do over here as well in our login form is our button text will also be our title. All right, and then so that's if our title is login. Else, we're just going to go ahead and copy this because I said it's very slightly different. Bring it down here, and this is just going to turn to sign up. So another nice thing about Supabase is that yeah, it's just sign up and sign in. It's very simple and it takes very similar arguments, and you may think, well, this is kind of redundant and there are ways that you can be more efficient with this, but hey, this works for me and it'll work for you, and that's why you're here. So let's make some final changes. We need a an on submit event listener for our form. So we'll do on:submit. And we're going to want to prevent default. So this is the Svelte way of preventing default, which is really nice. And we will call this handle login, which we've already written that function. So we'll go ahead and save that. And yeah, now we have a login and sign up form that should work. We just need one more file, which will be dashboard.svelte. And in dashboard.svelte, I'm just going to put an H1 that says, you're in. You've signed in. Congratulations. And for a style for that H1, yes, I'm even going to style the H1. I'm going to do font family Oswald with fallback of sans serif, font size of 3 elements, margin of 0, and a color of white. All right, sweet. That should be everything. So let's go back to our little login / sign up here, and obviously we can't log in because if you go to Supabase and you go to your authentication, you can see there's no users, so who would we sign in as? But if I hit sign up, I go to the sign up page and I'll put in my email here and I'll say sign up, and I'll refresh over here. Oh, I have to click sign up. Let me make sure. Oh, well, let's see what's going on here. To sign up, please provide your email. Did I spell something wrong? Of course, as soon as I record, this breaks. Let me see here. Ah, yes, I did spell something wrong. And you were probably in the comments saying, hey, you spelled something wrong. All right, let's try this again. You're in. I'm signed up. And you can see here, if we refresh Supabase, we can see my user. It does send an email verification automatically for you to verify their email, which is pretty cool. But that's it. That is how we create our authentication with Supabase in Sveltekit. And if you go back here and do login, it should let me log in, but I think because I'm already logged in, invalid login credentials. Oh, well, I already forgot my password, but it does work, trust me. So yeah, that is authentication with Supabase in Sveltekit. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the outro. I hope you enjoyed this video on setting up Supabase and Sveltekit and using the authentication piece of Supabase. I've really been enjoying Supabase, and I might be doing more videos on it. I forgot to mention during the video that you can always find the GitHub repo with the finalized code of what we created in my tutorials in the description. So if you're just interested in going through the code, the link to my GitHub is down there. Again, I just wanted to sign off with a note of gratitude. I've hit 150 subscribers on here and over 5,000 views on my YouTube videos in less than 2 months, which is absolutely astounding. And I am so appreciative of each and every one of you that watch these videos. I'm getting a lot out of it, and I hope you are too. So anyway, with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you'd like more web development content like this, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.